Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, market just opened, logging in. Okay, let's see what happens here. Get some background sounds so I don't lose my mind.
Looked like this back then.
I cannot handle silence. Okay. Gosh damn, this plane going over is loud. Jeez. Yeah. Let's see what this does. I'm not getting in this. I'm just seeing if it would have hit a 1-to-1 if I took it. Which it looks like it might have. It just we're in this hourly gap. I didn't know we were gonna get moving like that. Apparently we is. Oh yeah, 1-to-1 looks like it probably would have slapped. Maybe not. Yeah, we might keep going on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not even our ISVG though. Okay. Wrong time frame for a second there. Let's see. That was a super good sweep and everything, but I don't know, it could go sideways. It looks like it's going sideways, unfortunately. But we swept, we were still on a high time frame, perfect 3-candle IFVG. It seems great, but might not be. We're gonna see. Ooh. Ooh, what the hell? Yep, this is most likely a loss. Yeah. Fun. Fun stuff. Yeah, here it comes. Boom, right there. Ain't that a bitch? God damn. Didn't think we were going to reject like that if we were bullish. And now we're extremely bullish for some reason. So, damn, son. Of course, now this not even actual sweep is going to just fucking go crazy. Oh my god. It's not strong. Damn, I can't. I thought that was the fucking move right there, man. I really thought that was it. Man. Damn. Apparently this shit's just gonna play games this morning, which is gross. Fucking shit. And it comes back down. I just don't know why I should treat this area like it's like a FVG when it's not. It's weird to me. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I thought we were so obviously gonna go that way, but I don't know. Really don't know. Excuse me. That's like the tiniest FVG that's ever existed. Oh, boom. That's pretty decent, actually. Oh my god. Bro, this shit's fucking weird. Ooh. This price action doesn't look great. Yeah, bro, look at this. Back down. Oh my god. Damn, man. Yeah, I would have hit a 1-to-1 already if I did that. Would have came close, but Gene Keys. Yeah, this price action's bad so far. It's just a bad open. Fuck. Damn, bro, that seemed like such a good trade, and I just got absolutely fucked.
Originally called the VR32, claiming the players in the game, but it was the company's first 32-bit console to compete with the likes of the Sony PlayStation without requiring CD storage. They used 3D graphics that actually felt three-dimensional. Unfortunately, it could only produce games in shades of red. Even though you didn't need a TV, you could play it on the go, and the red screen graphics and ice scaling and heading stuff for a while. Was modern VR headsets don't do that at all. Long story short, it became the company's lowest-selling console in only 14 games were ever released. The only thing it really did well was it opened the door for VR machines and ones that built them on the stage. Most notably, the Meta Quest series featured devices that made VR completely centralizing a single pixel of what you can. Virtual Boy is maintaining up a failure, but it did provide VR. In fact, Nintendo's actually revived the Virtual Boy for
God, what is this PA, bro? Or we're gonna go up now after all that, or after all that whack shit. That's when we're gonna go up, huh? Jinkies, bro. Fucking jinkies. There has to be just some shit above I've neglected to look at or something. Like, what is this, dude? Genuinely, what is this?
But actually, in some ways, Betamax was actually a better machine. The tapes were smaller, colors were better, play and fast forward was quicker, but it was a recording time. It could only record for 60 minutes, and VHS could do double that. And eventually, RCA would introduce a machine that could record 3 hours, and later you could even extend it up to 6 hours. So, like, if you're a sports fan and you know that the VCR eventually won because you could actually record the full games, and, blatantly violate the whole just goes to show the high quality of this.
I'm gonna watch for a little bit, but if I don't see anything here in a minute, I guess I'll just go back to bed.
Several innovations that become standards and it was a it's really a product of bad timing. It came out in the late 1990s when systems like Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation were dominating. It was able to compete with these consoles because it had extremely high and sharp graphics. It also had a variety of games, including the beloved Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, as well as some exclusives like Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and Skyverse. Unfortunately, it kind of had a hard time getting over the failure of its predecessor, the Sega Saturn, and all the add-on consoles that erased the success of the Genesis. But it did introduce a lot of innovative features and designs that modern players can use. For starters, it introduced the ability for online multiplayer. Now pretty much every game has multiplayer features, so you can play with gamers from all around the world and learn also interesting curse words. But the Dreamcast was the first to come with a built-in modem and subscription-based online gaming. It even allowed for cross-play across platforms, with games like PlayStation Arena, where a Dreamcast player could virtually destroy players on PC. It forced rival console and game companies to focus on creating content. Dreamcast seed buffer bandwidth allowed better depth of field and sharper color graphics. But most importantly, it introduced a game called Seaman, where you kept a pet that had a fish body with a human face. So every day you could watch your seaman swim around in your future. Today, Sony is a major player in the gaming market with its PlayStation consoles, but its ill-fated attempt in the early 90s became one of the worst CD-based consoles in history. Fortunately, it made the Philips CDI console with another company. So, yeah, it sounds like the most innovative concept in history, so simply wanted to blame another company for the failure. The Philips CDI came out in 1991. The disc market started to dominate music, so it was a smart move at the time. Sony and Philips developed the CD, so they already had a corner on the market. Also, CD driver prices were dropping because more people were buying them. CDs could hold huge amounts of storage and handle complex programs, so it made sense to produce a CD-based console. But the Philips CDI didn't just try to be a game console. It aimed to be a full home entertainment system. You could play movies, offered educational games and experiences, play music, give users a way to share their photos on their TVs. Because it could do so many things and offered so many different uses, it was also way more expensive. So they worked with Nintendo to produce a series of CD games. Unfortunately, they looked and sounded like this.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
My boy, this piece is what all true warriors strive for.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Yes, that was a Zelda game, and no, not something we were able to record from your nightmares. The Philips CDI failed hard, but Nintendo definitely learned from its mistakes when it made consoles like the GameCube and the Nintendo Wii. The biggest lesson? Don't make games that eventually turn into tragic internet memes. The internet and TV seemed destined to collide in some way. Web TV, later known as MSN TV, was the first to take the chance of combining both mediums in a set-top box. It was really just kind of a glorified computer for your TV, so it kind of had to operate as fast as a TV, but on the slow, sloggy speeds of the 90s internet. But the innovative part was how it let you pick the shows you wanted to watch, even if you had to wait an entire day to learn what's happening on that evening's episode of Duckman.
What the hell are you staring at?
Here's a demo of the service in 1996. Co-founder Bruce Leak is trying to show people how easy it is to pull up a website for a little-known NBC TV show called Friends.
Additionally, they have some thumbnails, imagery of the cast that are stored as JPEG images on the NBC site. In the far right-hand corner of the screen, you can see a little gauge that tells you that information is coming in that lets you know that the page is not completed yet. That gauge also tells you that the phone line is in use, and so that you know that the phone line in your house is now busy because you're web browsing.
So yeah, it was slow and it could only show you websites, but it proved that people wanted smarter TVs. And it paved the way for streaming services and online programming like you're watching this on right now. The term Google may have wormed its way into our language as the generic term for internet searching, but the company also had some pretty epic failures that they'd like you to forget. Case in point, Google Glass. Google bet a lot of time and money on this wearable tech, and it got all sorts of high-profile attention. It got a 12-page story in Vogue magazine. Models wore them during the New York Fashion Week on the runways. Celebrities even started wearing them like Beyonce and Oprah. When the media world's biggest power duo can't move your product, that's a problem. The failure had nothing to do with the star power trying to push it. The thing was filled with bugs, and it couldn't even do what like basic smartphones could do back then. But it did show that there was a case for building wearable technology. It just needed to be more focused and, useful. Google Glass felt more like something you needed an MIT degree to understand. But without Google Glass, we probably wouldn't have the wearable technology we have today, like smartwatches or even Fitbit-style items that can track movements. And it needs to be said, smart glasses are finally starting to grow in popularity. There are even rumors that Apple may be launching one soon. Zoom is another one of those brand words that just kind of somehow became the official noun and verb for, video and web conferencing. But before Zoom, there were actually a lot of attempts to make video meetings a thing, and they go way further back than Skype. Believe it or not, the video phone actually goes back to the 1920s. Yeah, they did a demonstration where the Commerce Secretary Herbert Hoover, he was Commerce Secretary at the time, he took a video call in the AT&T Bell Labs video booth in New York City. Later, AT&T unveiled a smaller but still pretty impressive picture phone in 1964 at the New York City World's Fair. The demo basically let people talk to strangers at Disneyland in California. And yet somehow people weren't impressed. Yeah, a technology that was revolutionary when we saw it in Blade Runner, it just still didn't really impress people. They weren't really clamoring for it back then for some reason. AT&T offered calling booths in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, but they just never really caught on. There are some pretty good reasons for this. A big one was that people had to schedule their calls in advance. Unlike now when you can just pick up a phone and call, you had to actually schedule your call at a specific place. Which makes sense because the other person had to be on a working camera phone, one of the only few of them in the world, at the same time. Also, the calls could only last 15 minutes. And again, there were only 3 cities in the world that had access to the phones. And for those 15 minutes, it cost $16. It's about $150 today. By 1968, AT&T pulled the plug on the whole thing. And now, we're all on Zoom all the time. We have it's right on our phone and FaceTime on your iPhones. It's the way the kids are talking these days in their Gen Z slang. So one of the most annoying problems, especially in the early days of the internet, was having to remember big long URL addresses or emails. And sure, today we have features built into our browsers and our phones that can remember that kind of stuff, but that's only because our brains can't seem to remember anything except, useless knowledge like the number of times we spilled a drink on someone or who played Max Headroom. It's 3 times in Matt Frewer, by the way. Well, one attempt to bridge that divide between print and web came in the early 2000s with a device called the QCat. It was literally a cat-shaped scanner that scanned barcodes. So your computer had a mouse, now it would have a cat. Cat and mouse. Get it? Oh, yeah, the idea was that advertisers could put barcodes in their print ads, and then you could just scan those barcodes and go to their website. It was kind of print media's attempt to adjust to the web era, and yeah, it was a huge failure. Gizmodo actually listed it as the worst invention of the decade. Investors lost millions, but that's probably because they kind of gave them away for free. But you might be thinking this is a bit like the QR codes that you see everywhere now. Like this QR code that can take you directly to the Laugh Smarter website to buy the shirt I'm wearing right now. See? Amazing! So while it was a major flop and nobody really asked for it, it did have the right idea. Just not the right implementation. And that's really the story for a lot of things in this video. Right idea, wrong execution. Or the timing was bad, or the technology wasn't ready for it. And there are plenty of other examples. I couldn't fit them all in here, but I would love to have you guys chime in down below. What's your favorite successful failure? Anything from your past that you fondly remember but bombed horribly? Yeah, just drop it in the comments. We'll talk about it. There's always the chance of failure when you innovate, but that doesn't make it not worth doing. Something has to push society forward. And that doesn't always mean innovating or inventing something new. There's a million different ways you can contribute to the world. I think the trick is just finding that intersection between something that you're good at and that you care about or have a special talent in, and the things that will affect the most people and make the most difference to the most people in the world. And that is where today's sponsor, 80,000 Hours, comes in. 80,000 Hours is a nonprofit whose goal is to help people find a job with purpose. They've written a ridiculously in-depth career guide to help you find a career that you love that also works towards solving the world's most pressing problems. As a lot of very wise people have said, the old school advice of follow your passion is actually kind of bad advice, really. The real key to happiness is to follow your purpose. Because, passion can fade once you get into the grind of a job, especially if you don't feel like you're really making a difference in the world. But how do you know what careers make the most difference in the world? How do you know where your talents will be put to the best use? These are questions that 80,000 Hours is set out to answer. Their name comes from the average length of a career, 40 hours a week, for 50 weeks a year for over 40 years. This is where you're most likely to spend the most of the time in your life and where you have the most opportunity to make a real difference. If you go to 80000hours.org, you'll find free resources to point you in the right direction. From extensive articles to a free podcast where they interview thought leaders in some of the most high-impact industries, to an actual job board with up-to-date listings of jobs that you can search according to skill set and geography. But maybe the best place to start is their career guide, which is available for pre-order right now. It covers what really makes for a dream job, which global problems are the most pressing, and what you can do if you're worried about AI automation. This is based off of more than 10 years of research on careers that not only improve the quality of your life, but the quality of the world as a whole. They're a great organization that can help bring real clarity to your situation. So if you're struggling to find your way, or feeling a little rudderless, or maybe just ready for a change, go to 80000hours.org/Joe Scott to pre-order your copy of their revised and updated career guide, which helps to aim you learn about what makes for a high-impact career, get new ideas for impactful paths, and make a new plan based on what you've learned and put it into action. So go check them out, 80000hours.org/Joe Scott. Links down in the description. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. As I mentioned earlier, if you would like this shirt or any of the other many dozens of shirts that we have available, just go to laughsmarter.com. Also, the book, the Laugh Smarter Book of Mysteries, is there, and lots of other stuff. So laughsmarter.com, go check it out. If this is your first time here, maybe check out this video. Google thinks that is right up your alley. Go take a look if you enjoy it. Maybe watch some other videos, and if you enjoy them, I invite you to subscribe. I got videos for days, and I do these every Monday. Anyway, that's it for today. You guys go out there, have an eye-opening rest of the week. Do stay safe, and I'll see you next Monday. Love you guys. Take care. As the story goes, back around the turn of the century, there was a woman named Belinda who fell in love with a local man named Jim. Their relationship was great at first, but over time, Jim became violent and abusive, causing Belinda to feel trapped, afraid of what he'd do if she left. So despite all of her friends' warnings, she stayed with him. That is, until Belinda gave birth to a baby boy. Looking at her newborn son, she couldn't stand the thought that Jim's anger would come to harm him, and she decided to take action. She fled into the woods to make her escape, but an angry Jim caught wind of her plan and chased after her. He eventually caught her and in a fit of rage, drowned her and the baby in the river. After Belinda went missing, the people in the town began to worry about her and suspected Jim had done something, which he denied having anything to do with it, of course. They searched the woods looking for her one night when the searchers caught sight of a glow in Brown Mountain. Thinking it might be Belinda or somebody else carrying a lantern, they followed the light. When they reached it, the light disappeared, but right beneath where it had been, they found Belinda's body, and Jim was brought to justice. This probably didn't happen, but it's a great bit of folklore around a phenomenon that's been well documented for hundreds of years. The fact is, there are several places around the world that have these kinds of stories.
Tales of ghost lights, glowing orbs, and other unexplainable objects that seem to happen with surprising regularity. So is there anything actually to this? What's behind the ghost lights? People have experienced ghost lights throughout the centuries and all around the world. Sometimes these mysterious lights are called spook lights, corpse candles, will-o'-the-wisps, and ghost orbs. Depending on where they're seen, they may even have a specific name like the Marfa lights. Cultures also offer different explanations for what causes them. Some tales say fairies or leprechauns cause the lights, or maybe it's goblins or the spirits of children who died young. And some tales are very specific. Like in Wales, there's a story of a man named Will whose wicked deeds doomed him to wander the earth for eternity. Even though he's not allowed into heaven or hell, he is allowed to carry an ember from the fires of hell to light his way. In Japanese folklore, the Hitodama is a visible soul of a human that appears blue, white, orange, or red, and slowly floats around just above the ground. The Min-Min lights in Australia's outback are fast-moving lights that have been known to even stalk people. Ghost lights have 5 characteristics according to the Ghost Research Society. They appear in remote areas, they're elusive and can be seen from different angles and distances, they react to noise or light by receding or disappearing, they're accompanied by hummings, buzzings, or outbreaks of gaseous material, and they're associated with folklore surrounding a haunting because of an accident or tragedy. The Brown Mountain lights are found in North Carolina, where they show up in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they can appear either blue or red. Native American tribes like the Cherokee and the Catawba reported them as far back as the year 1200. They believed the lights were the spirits of their warriors who were killed in a battle that year. During the U.S. Civil War, soldiers would write home about the lights when they saw them. And the lights have actually been heavily researched by the Smithsonian Institution and the U.S. Geological Society. Theories about what causes them include reflections from moonshine stills, swamp gas, and unusual atmospheric conditions that reflect electricity. The Smithsonian dismissed the moonshine theory, actually, saying that there weren't enough stills to actually cause all those lights. Also, there aren't any swamps around Brown Mountain, and the lights were long seen before electricity was invented. And because they go so far back into history and have such a connection to the local people, there are tons of stories and folklore around the lights, one of which is the story I started this video off with. Actually, if you want a great breakdown of all the folklore around the Brown Mountain lights, Wendigoon has a great video on it. I'll put a link down in the description. Marfa, Texas is about 80 kilometers from the Mexican border. It sits in far west Texas, and it's home to a thriving community of artists and free thinkers. Actually, a pretty neat little town. And it's also been home to the Marfa lights for more than 140 years. A young cowhand named Robert Reed Ellison was the first to say that he saw the lights in 1883. The story was that he was driving cattle through the plains and he got so scared that he ran back into town to tell everybody about it. Everyone from farmers to World War II soldiers to couples making out in parked cars have seen the lights, usually along a prairie southeast of Marfa known as the Paisano Pass. In fact, the actor James Dean supposedly was so obsessed with them that he kept a telescope in his room at the hotel when he was shooting in Marfa for the movie Giant in 1956. Today, people from all around the world come to see the lights on clear nights, but there's no telling when they show up. It's pretty random. They only show up at about 30 times a year, and it's usually around sunrise or sunset. People have said that the orbs are believed to be everything from ghosts of Spanish conquistadors to UFOs to car headlights. Along a certain 250-kilometer stretch of the Mekong River in the Nong Khai province in Thailand, glowing red fireballs shoot up in the sky as high as 183 meters from the water. People have also seen them shooting up from lakes, ponds, and other rivers in the Asan region of Thailand. They range in size from small bubbles to basketball size. And for a few evenings in October, they can be seen in the hundreds or even the thousands. In fact, they seem to happen so regularly that there's a festival held there every year in October. It's actually called the Naga Fireball Festival, or sometimes the Phayunak Festival, and it marks the end of the Buddhist Lent season. People gather along the riverbanks and light fireworks and floating lanterns until the time comes that the lights actually appear, usually shooting out of the water in the middle of the river until they disappear high in the air. The Naga fireballs get their name from a legendary sea serpent called Naga, who is said waits at the bottom of the river until the end of the Lent season. And the legend says that the lights are the breath of the serpent as it wakes up. This sounds awesome. I would actually love to see this festival. Anybody who's been to this festival, please share about it in the comments. There's a mysterious basketball-sized glowing orb that appears on the old Route 66 in northeast Oklahoma on a 6-kilometer rural road nicknamed the Devil's Promenade. It's been named the Hollis Light, the Joplin Spook Light, the Ozark Spook Light, the Tri-State Spook Light, and the Hornet Spook Light after the former town of Hornet. But it's always a spook light. And there are claims that it's been showing up in the night sky since 1881. Some people think it's the ghost of a murdered Osage chief, some say it's the spirit of a Quapaw maiden who drowned herself in the river when her warrior was killed in battle, and others say it's the lantern of a miner searching for his lost family. The Hessdalen Valley is located just to the south of Åland in Norway, and it's in this picturesque setting where one can see the Hessdalen lights. They've been seen as big as cars and can float up to around 2 hours. Sometimes they go down the valley and then fade away.
They're usually red, yellow, blue, or white when seen at night, and in the daytime they look like metallic objects. One report was from Augie and Ruth Mary Moe, who saw what they described as a burning fireball in the evening sky from their kitchen window on December 8, 1981. They kind of peaked in the 80s. They started appearing up to 20 times a week, so it's no surprise that UFOologists became excited. And so did other researchers like astrophysicists, chemists, data and electroengineers, and geophysicists. So much so that the Hizdalan Automatic Measurement Station was installed to register and record the appearance of the lights in 1998. And in 2018, the Hizdalan Observatory was established on a nearby mountaintop where up to 4 researchers are stationed to study the lights year-round. Michigan's Upper Peninsula is where you can see the Paulding Light, which has been seen since the 1960s. It's an intensely bright light that appears in the distance at the top of a hill outside the city of Paulding. One legend claims that it's the light of a swaying lantern held by the ghost of a railroad worker. The story says that he was crushed when an oncoming train hit rail cars that had stalled on the tracks. Some people believe that it's the train's light, and that train is now a ghost itself. Ghost trains. And then there are some that think that it's a grandparent's distraught spirit looking for a lost grandchild, and the spirit's lantern has to keep getting relit, which is why the light kind of comes and goes. As mentioned earlier, the Min Min lights are found in Australia's outback. People describe them as blue, white, or yellow fast-moving balls that glow in the dark, and sometimes the light will split in two. And yeah, like I said before, they're known to stalk people, leaving people frightened and confused, obviously. Some Aboriginal people believe they're the spirits of elders looking after their country. Yeah, the Min Mins are different. All the others are just kind of like lights off in the distance. The Min Mins will apparently actually chase you. Yeah, I would run like a friggin' madman. Good thing I've been working out and training lately. Thanks for noticing. And I've been doing it with today's sponsor, Copilot. Okay, so here's the deal. I've tried just about everything there is that you can think of to stay in shape. I've done the workout videos, which are hard to stick with. I've done sports leagues, which take up a lot of time. And I've worked out with personal trainers and gyms, which are really expensive. Copilot, I have to say, is a nice in between all those things. They're workouts that you can do on your phone, in your home, on your own time, but the workouts are designed by an actual certified trainer. My trainer's name is Devin. We met at the beginning, and I told him what I was trying to do, what my goals are, what I was hoping to get out of it, what equipment I had available, and then he designed a program just for me with the equipment that I had available. And it's been great. He checks in with me once or twice a week to keep me accountable. We all know that's super important, and then he adjusts the workouts according to what I need. In fact, I kind of pulled a muscle one time while I was doing this, not during a workout or anything, but I was able to tell Devin that, and he actually adjusted my workout to compensate for it. It syncs with my smartwatch, and he can actually monitor my movements when I'm working out and tell me to slow down or speed up or go higher or lower, and it's in Devin's voice, which is crazy. And they kind of gamify it and give you points when you hit a streak, which is weirdly motivating. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. The workouts are challenging, but they don't kill you. I can do it right here in my home and fit it in with everything else I've got going on. 30 minutes a day is better than no minutes a day, and I think over time, I can really tell a difference. And apparently I'm not alone. It was named one of the best fitness apps of 2022 by Forbes. So look, if you struggle with sticking to a workout program like I do, I really think this might be a good solution to try. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's custom tailored to you by a certified health coach, and it's much more affordable than a personal trainer. And if you'd like to give Copilot a try, you can get 14 days for free. That includes a consultation with your personal trainer, and just see for yourself. Little improvements every day. It goes a long way. Copilot can help. Links down in the description. But getting back to the lights. As we've seen, these things happen all over the place, and with such regularity that festivals are held around them, and science observatories have been built to study them. So while, yeah, a lot of these places use it as a way to bring tourists in and whatnot, there must be something to them. And there's a lot of theories around it. So let's start with the Brown Mountain Lights. So legends about the Brown Mountain Lights have been around for hundreds of years, but the first official sighting wasn't until 1912. And researchers have been studying them ever since. And most explanations fall into 3 categories: trains, car lights, and brush fires. But the Marfa lights, they're probably just car headlights. In case you missed it, we're in the wet blanket segment of the video. In 2004, the University of Texas sent the Society of Physics students to study the lights, and their report found that the lights correlated with car headlights on Highway 67. To the point that they were able to predict when a light was going to appear based on where the cars were on the highway. So this is happening because of a phenomenon known as superior image. This is when objects appear higher than their actual position because of the way the light bounces off of layers of heat in the air. So this can make distant objects, even below the horizon, appear to be hovering in the air. And it turns out that Marfa, which is about 1,500 meters above sea level, has just the right temperature gradients along those hills to create this basically a mirage. This theory was backed up by a second study published in the Journal of Atmospheric and Solar Terrestrial Physics in 2011. They investigated the lights and basically came to the same conclusion, that they were refracted from a 32-kilometer stretch of Highway 67. And the reason this only happens about 30 or so times a year is because it requires very specific atmospheric conditions to happen. Now, you might
I'm in this beautiful short. There was a rejection block entry I missed. There was a 1 minute IFG I missed, but I did get on this 5 minute. Yeah, it's kind of pulling back into this 15, which I'm not stoked about. But if we can make it through 2.5 more minutes, we are going to keep going, because then that 15 will be decimated. It's got a little 5, but this 15 is what I'm talking about. Man, 40 seconds. I'm really hoping it holds. If it holds, we're doing good. You know what I'm saying? Oh no. Oh no. Damn. No, bro, don't do this. Bro, no. After all that, we're gonna hella respect this. Oh no. No way. No way.
Stop it.
That sucks, man. Fuck. It's gonna keep going too. That's the saddest part. I mean, only if this closes, which I don't know if it's going to. We're gonna see. And then it's. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus, click the right thing. Oh my gosh. I hate it when it just won't let me click something. Like, what's going on? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, bro. Jesus. And it respected. It respected. 100% respected it. Now I'm only 125 down on the day. Yeah, I wouldn't take this out, but it's interesting. Yeah, now I'm about 125 or 100, what was it? Like 125, 130 bucks down on the day, which is pretty good considering how bad I started my morning, which was very bad. But this looks like a beautiful long setup, but I just don't think I can take it. Yes, we did just respect that, and that's good. Yeah, I just can't take this. I can't do it. Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. Yeah, that would have been a pretty bangy ass trade if I got it on that rejection block or that first IFEG. But I fumbled. It's okay. Another day, another dollar. I'll get by. It's looking like to paper. And I'm going to. Ugh, oh my god, that's a lot. No, we can't do that. Even on paper, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. A little bit down on the day, but considering how I started the day, pretty good.
It's a hologram, meaning you can view me from over here, or over there, or perhaps even through this. Yeah, we can move the camera anywhere through space, but also through time. This is a 4D Gaussian splat, and if that sounds familiar, it should, because we're witnessing the birth of a new medium. Holograms are here. It's a 3D reconstruction of reality that is both photoreal and renders in real time. It's honestly kind of nuts and really feels like the format of the future. So today, I'm going to catch you up on this amazing new technology, how it works, how you can use it,